Hello, welcome back lads. Scotty Senior here, try number 2 at round number 1 Spa. First race didn't go really well. We're not feeling well. We should not have been on the game that day at all. Decided to turn our mic off. Continued with the live stream but turned our mic off and went for another try at it. And this one turned out to be a very enjoyable one. Ups and downs as usual, but it was enjoyable. We get lucky at the start. We're starting in 4th and 5th place. Loses the slipstream almost immediately. Well, not much happens at the start of the race. We'll continue with a skip. We managed to hang in the slipstream with Mr. Engineer and this other guy, and as I say, we'll have a wee bit of a gap here to 5th. He's pushing hard trying to get back into that slipstream, but we're managing to be able to save a wee bit of fuel as and when we can. It does get a bit more entertaining towards the latter stages of this one, where actually this is all long term in the head at the moment. We're not thinking about trying to do any moves or anything. We're lifting off. You can see us lifting off, coasting, trying to get the fuel under control for the last 2 laps, perhaps the last 3 laps. And once we know in our head that we've enough to push, then we'll start going. But it was a smart race that was needed, really. Fuel saving. I'm not a fan of fuel saving. I prefer us to be out there all racing with a wee bit of tyre wear, but it is what it is. As the engineer makes a move up into 2nd, and we're of course happy just to sit here. We've still got a bit of a gap. There's no panic yet. I believe we did have, what is our number 9 in this race, so anything inside the top 9 was improving us, or so they say. Although I finished 3 or 4 numbers behind a number before an improved rating. So I'm not exactly sure how it works out, although I've been given a different explanation now from Adam, who says it's all about who you beat on the track, which perhaps explains things for me in a slightly different way than I realised before. So after hearing that, I'm thinking to myself, right, so if I'm number 5 in a room and I finish in 10th place, but everybody who finishes behind me are all people with a higher rating than me, even though I finished lower than my number, I should still improve because I've beaten others with a better rating. You can see getting it up into 6th gear, nice and early again. Still early days. It's only lap 3. It's a big enough race. It's 11 laps. This other guy is nigh in the slipstream, and again I'm sure you'll see us lift off here. Yep, lifting off and coasting, trying to lose as little overall time as possible. But you see, it doesn't happen in every race. You get guys that are trying to win it from the start, thinking that every position on the track is important, and it's more important to give a position up and know when to give a position up than to be able to hold someone behind you. You could lose the slipstream, a lot more than the slipstream, if you get into any kind of battle at all, it only takes 1 or 2 corners of side by side action and your battle for the bunch up ahead is gone. You can see this guy was in second, and the leader has disappeared, although the leader did set a very good qualifying time, and he dominated this one. No surprise there, no one's going to catch that boy. I'm not even sure if he had the same strategy as everyone, or if he done the strategy of pitting on the last lap, or in the middle of the race and only doing 1 lap on the mediums. But he clearly had a bit more pace than the rest of us in the room. And again, we'll go for a skip while there's not anything happening. You can see this guy is in the slipstream now with us. On lap 5, I do believe this was our pitting lap. Our tyres were feeling pretty worn at this stage. It's yet another high tyre wear season, and we almost lose it on the way into the pit there with the back end stepping out on us. The pit crew done an absolutely outstanding job here that day, but we'll not pay any attention to them. We'll get back out. And this is the guy who was directly ahead of us on the way into the pits. And you'll see, we'll come round, and other guys are going to peel off, say to do 6 laps for the first stint, and leave us back here, and we'll follow it from here. Right, so we're back up to where we were originally. We've made a position. The engineer has been the unlucky one, and it's time to make the move and get ourselves up to second with still half an eye on the fuel. It was all about the fuel. But this was an enjoyable race, and as I say, we're still learning. What we've learned is that it usually annoys us and makes us lose time whenever we're messing about with our dials in terms of your brake balance and your fuel and stuff. That stuff does slow us down. We learnt in this one, when we turned the mic off and we weren't talking, it was easy. And so even that one bad experience of being annoyed and having to turn our microphone off has, now with the microphone on, it seems to be easier for me. The very next time I played the game, I was able to talk, and I don't know, it just clicked for me. It was easier to do all that stuff without losing time after having a race where there was no talk for me at all. We'll see on the way in this one. He just gave us a wee nudge there to let us know he doesn't want any side by side. And on the way in this one, he shows us his nose, and as soon as we see his nose, we're off and we're coasting. We're not gonna battle it. And again, falling behind him, always trying to keep an eye on this wee bunch behind us, wanting to get ourselves a bottle of bubbly, a spot on the box. Squirt that fast guy who's totally dominated in the eye. And we're still feeling like we're one of the favourites for second place on the box. Our fuel is looking pretty good at this stage of the race. We're almost at the stage where on the last 2 laps we know that we'll have 2.4, 2.5 of fuel left. If there's 3 laps to go, I like to have 3.6, 3.7. Seems to be when I push hard. I use 1.2 of fuel. So I kind of just judge it on my last 3 laps. I know I'm perhaps wrong in doing that. I hear a lot of guys talking about the percentage and stuff, but it seems to have worked out for me the way I'm doing it. I never seem to have any fuel problems, and I seem to judge it pretty good in the end. Each race either exactly on 0 or maybe 0.1 left. So we've had no need or no want at the moment to try and change whatever way the brain is working it out for us at the moment. And see, Mr. Engineer has made his way back up in the 4th, and he's pitted a lap later, so he'll have slightly better tyres. And right before we started this race as well, we went out to try and see where the track limits were, where it was going to hand out the penalties, as you do. And we tested this, the very first corner here, on the outside, to see, not to make you go any faster, but we had a couple of tests of driving around here and drifting right out onto that spare bit of road to see if it would give you a penalty, just in case we had any side by side action there in the race, so as we knew it was an option for us to go out there if there was any risk. We didn't really like running on that curb. If we had a side by side with anyone, we thought to ourselves we'd prefer to jump right over the curb rather than stay on the accelerator on the curb. We see here we're having to go extra defensive because I'll let you watch it on the way along here. We're getting the run and we're pulling out, but we've got Mr. Engineer coming behind us as well. And as soon as we see him coming, we'll let him know and we'll move over and go defensive and block him off and just about get ourselves stopped and make the corner. a really enjoyable race for me, this. Concentration and focus from start to finish, with the pressure there the whole time, knowing that a good result can be lost at any moment, especially when you're looking behind you and you're seeing that these two guys, you're having to rely on other guys to be fair and safe, and at the same time as seeing these two right behind us, we're well aware of this other large group starting to make its way towards us as well. Nine laps survived so far. Come and bring it home. 2 to go. And we'll have a quick skip here. I would imagine there's going to be no defence for us whatsoever here. I'll be surprised if we're not gobbled up for breakfast. But at least one, we're having to stay tight, we're having to stay defensive, and as soon as he goes to the outside, then we can start paying attention in front of us again. And again, ever so slightly a defensive line on the way into that one, just in case the guy behind was having any thoughts. If he had been right on us, we might have just discouraged him. And we did actually think in this race, you'll see if it goes down on the last lap. We'll have another quick skip till we get around it. These two make a lot of time back up on us. We were looking and cruising a car in front of us, but we had a bit of a gap, and then all of a sudden the engineer was right on us, and we've lost the back end a wee bit at the start of the last lap, and he's on us, and we decide he can have it. He has the inside, and here is where we made the wrong decision. We've decided, just rather than run side by side on that curb, we're going to jump over that curb and come back on. We thought to ourselves, that'll be the safe thing to do. And then we didn't realise, but we tried to turn, and the car didn't want to turn. Our tyres were dirty. On the last lap of the race, we get a nudge up the rear, but that's going to hand us a penalty on the last lap, which we're not even able to take now. So it'll be a full second, although quite possibly could have worked out more than a full second if we did have to take it. Tyres still a wee bit dirty on us. We actually thought in this race, when that happened straight after the race, we thought to ourselves, the tyres just went on us there in the last lap immediately. Just all of a sudden they were okay, one corner, and the next corner that was it, there was no grip left. And then we realised it was because they were dirty. We drove off the track, and that's what happened. So we end up with our bottle of bubbly ripped from our grasp on the final lap, and struggling now to hang on to it. Mr. Flow Riding driving around the outside of us, with more wanton spots on us. We'll have a quick skip. As I come round to the last corner, and we knew that we were going to lose this spot on the line, and we'll drop back to 6th. In fact, he's actually passed us there because we've drifted out wide, but that was a real enjoyable one for us, and we settled for that and went and had a cup of tea and had our heads charged. Thank you guys, and catch you next time.